very much under control in this country. The coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. It's going to disappear. It's like a miracle. It will disappear. March 4th, we have a very small number of people in this country infected. March 10th, we're prepared. We're doing a great job with it. It will go away. Just stay calm. It will go away. What do you say to Americans who believe that you got this wrong?
And I do want them to stay calm. And we are doing a great job. If you look at those individual statements, they're all true. Stay calm. It will go away. You know it is going away, and it will go away. And we're going to have a great victory. And it's people like you and CNN that say things like that. It's why people just don't want to listen to CNN anymore. You could ask a normal question. The statements I made are: I want to keep the country calm. I don't want panic in the country. I could cause panic much better than even you. I would make you look like a minor league player. But you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to have our country be calm and strong and fight and win. And it will go away. And it is incredible, the job that all of these people are doing, putting them all together, the job that they're doing. I am very proud of the job they're doing, that Mike Pence is doing, that the task force has done, that Honeywell and Procter & Gamble and Mike and all of these people have done. I'm very proud. It's almost a miracle, and it is, the way it's all come together. And instead of asking a nasty, snarky question like that, you should ask a real question. And other than that, I'm going to go to somebody else. Please, go ahead, please.
You expressed some concern in the past that medical supplies were going out the back door, and that perhaps some hospitals were doing things worse.
Well, I expressed what was told to me by a tremendous power in the business. He said that at a New York hospital for a long period of time. He was giving 10,000, maybe maximum 20,000 masks over a short time, and all of a sudden he's giving 300,000. And I said, no matter how bad this is, could that be possible? He said, no. So there's only a couple of things that could happen. Is it going out the back door? And I've reported it to the city and let the city take a look at it. But when you go from 10,000 masks to 300,000 masks, Mike, over the same period of time, there's something going on. Now, I'm not making any charges, but when everyone's looking for masks, and by the way, that's another thing, we're making a lot of masks, and the sterilization process is going to save a lot of time and a lot of masks. But when you have the biggest distributor of product that distributes to many of the big hospitals and hospital chains, and he brings up a statistic like that, and I know you're trying to make a big deal out of it, but you shouldn't be. You should actually go over to the hospital and find out why. You shouldn't be asking me. I'm just saying that's the way it is. You should go over there as a great reporter. I have no idea who you are, but that's okay. You should go over there, go to the hospital, and find out how come you used to get 10,000 masks and you had a full hospital. New York City, always full. And how come now you have 300,000 masks, despite the virus and all, you have three? How do you go from 10 to 300,000? And this is very serious stuff. I mean, I could see from 10 to 20 or from 10 to 40 or 50 or something. But how do you go from 10 to 300,000 masks? So what I think you should do is, I'm sure you're a wonderful investigative reporter, you should go to the hospital and find out why. Okay, yeah.
Your campaign to look into it, sir?
Steve, please. Well, it's so bad for the economy, but the economy is number 2 on my list. First, I want to save a lot of lives. We're going to get the economy back. I think the economy is going to come back very fast. Steve's just asking about the economy. What's it like? We basically shut down our country. And we did that in order to keep people separated, keep people apart. They're not working in offices. They're not in airplanes together. You know, we really shut it down. And, 150, 151 other countries are pretty much shut down. But here we had the greatest economy in the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had to go from doing a great job for 3 years to shutting it down. But you know what? We're going to build it up, and we're going to build it up rapidly. And I think in the end we'll be stronger for it. We learned a lot. And I have to say, we've had great relationships with a lot of countries. China sent us some stuff, which was terrific. Russia sent us a very, very large plane load of things, medical equipment, which was very nice. Other countries sent us things that I was very surprised at, very happily surprised. We learned a lot. We're learning a lot. And we're also learning that the concept of borders is very important, Steve. It's very important. Having borders is very, very important. But we have done an incredible job. The economy is going to come back. My focus is saving lives. That's the only focus I can have. We're going to bring the economy back, and we'll bring it back fast. Yeah, please. Follow up. Go ahead. Oh, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said several times that the United States has ramped up testing. So talk a little quicker or a little louder. Mr. President, you said several times that the United States has ramped up testing, but the United States is still not testing per capita as many people as other countries like South Korea. Why is that, and when do you think that that number will be on par with other countries?
Yeah, well,
and
it's very much on par. Look, per capita, we have areas of the country that's very right. I know South Korea better than anybody. It's a very tight. You know how many people are in Seoul? You know how big the city of Seoul is? 38 million people. That's bigger than anything we have. 38 million people, all tightly wound together. We have vast farmlands. We have vast areas where they don't have much of a problem. In some cases, they have no problem whatsoever. We have done more tests. I didn't talk about per capita. We have done more tests by far than any country in the world, by far. Our testing is also better than any country in the world. And when you look at that, as simple as that looks, that's something that's a game changer. And every country wants that, every country. So rather than asking a question like that, you should congratulate the people that have done this testing, because we inherited, this administration inherited a broken system, a system that was obsolete, a system that didn't work. It was okay for a tiny, small group of people, but once you got beyond that, it didn't work. We have built an incredible system to the fact where we have now done more tests than any other country in the world, and now the technology is really booming. I just spoke to, I spoke to a lot. I'm not going to even mention. I spoke to a number of different testing companies today, and the job that they've done and the job that they're doing is incredible. But when Abbott comes out and does this so quickly, it's really unreal. In fact, one company I have to say that stands out in the job, and I think I can say this, I don't want to insult anybody else, but Roche. Roche has been incredible in the testing job they've done, and they're ramping it up exponentially. It's up, 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 up. And you should be saying congratulations instead of asking a really snarky question, because I know exactly what you mean by that. You should be saying, congratulations to the men and women who have done this job, who have inherited a broken testing system and who have made it great. And if you don't say it, I'll say it. I want to congratulate all of the people. You have done a fantastic job, and we will see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so the President of the United States spending about almost an hour in the Rose Garden right now, updating us on the latest developments. And he started with an important statement saying that he believes the peak will be in another 2 weeks. Presumably then it will begin to go down. He says he's saving at least 1 million, maybe 2 million American lives by going ahead with these new restrictions, these social distancing guidelines, keeping them until the end of April. We've heard earlier in the day from his medical experts there could be 100,000 deaths here in the United States over the next few weeks, maybe as many as 200,000. But the president keeps saying that's obviously a lot less than 2 million deaths. John King, you were listening as closely as anyone to what the president had to say. What stood out to you?
Well, the most important thing by far is the significant turnaround from the president on the policy wolf. The president now saying America is on lockdown at least through the month of April, possibly longer. He says his job is about saving lives. Bringing the economy back will come after that. That is the most important thing by far that has happened at the White House in the last 24 hours. But yet again in that briefing, we see sometimes the president loves to have combat with reporters, especially when they ask questions about accountability. Jim Acosta asked him about his own words at the beginning of this, minimizing things. Mies Alcindor tried to ask him again about the testing issues that we have across the country. She asked a very fair question. South Korea has tested more of its citizens on a per capita basis. That is a fact. The president had his box at the White House today. He likes props, the new Abbott laboratory test. Let's hope it's a game changer. But even on that call with governors again today, a lot of governors said we don't have enough testing kits yet, or we don't have all the pieces of the kits yet to do what we need to do to figure out the scope of this virus in our states. So this is still an issue in the states. The president does not like questions about accountability. Two other quick things. He said at one point there, a month ago, nobody had heard of this. The first case in China was confirmed on January 7th. That's more than a month ago. The first case in the United States in Washington State was confirmed on January 21st, 2 weeks after the case in China. That is 10 weeks ago. That is not a month ago.
This may be an uncomfortable question, but what would the models have looked like that Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci showed us if we had started these social distancing guidelines sooner, in February or January, when China, South Korea were doing those sorts of things?
Well, I'm gonna let them answer that,
In terms of what information we're getting from them, but if we had started these practices sooner, could these models be different right
Yeah, I'm
now?
gonna let them answer you, but remember this, and again, I say it, and everybody says it. You know who says it better than anybody is Dr. Fauci. I had a decision to make. Maybe it was my biggest decision. China was heavily infected, and thousands of people were coming from China to the United States. And against the wishes, not even wishes, but they disagreed with the decision, I made a decision to stop China from coming in. Took a lot of heat, even from China. They weren't exactly happy. I just made a trade deal, a big one, $250 billion trade deal, and I'm shortly thereafter saying you can't come into our country. That was a big decision. That was earlier than the dates you're talking about. So that was a big decision. That was probably, and by the way, not because I did it, that was probably the biggest decision we made so far. But if you look at the one graph, what New York has is New York started